Hello and welcome to this edition of Leafless, Not Lifeless with Sharon Benjamin. I'm your host, Sharon Benjamin. For Leafless, Not Lifeless, are you in a situation where from the outside, you might look as if you're just standing still, but you're actually growing and developing? So you might be leafless, but you're not lifeless. If you'd like to share your story, please contact me at leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com, leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com. So again, thank you for watching and listening. I have a very special guest for this edition of Leafless Not Lifeless, Anya Doonquah. At 2 years old, Anya was diagnosed with dyslexia and auditory processing disorder. Needless to say, her parents had to receive this and figure out what to do. Anya's parents, both parents are doctors. Her father is an MD and her mother is a dentist. So here it is, they had to figure out what to do with their daughter, how they were going to navigate this situation. So Anya is going to share with me and you about, what she remembers about that, how she navigated through elementary, high school, college, and is now a college graduate. So Anya, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Benjamin.
You are so welcome. So as I said, both of your parents doctors, but then they got this diagnosis when you were 2 years old. What about that do you remember? I know you were two, but anywhere along that line, what is something you remember about that time?
So I remember I was a very shy individual. I'm still kind of laid back and reserved as of now. And then as well as it was a couple letters and one couple numbers that were a little bit difficult for me to try to understand. It was the M and the N, it was the D and the B. And then as well as the the number six, as well as the number nine. So it was as difficult as well. You trying to read, not really read and write, but try and pronounce your name correctly. I believe at that age you're trying to pronounce your name. And so it's very, very difficult for me as a 2 year old try to explain and talk to my parents about what I wanted as a 2 year old.
That's interesting. Now, you are the oldest of your parents' four children. So, what was it like for you seeing your siblings who didn't have any of the similar diagnosis and seeing them just growing and developing? What was that like for you being the oldest?
It was challenging as well as being the oldest. You know, you want your younger siblings to look up to you, but it was very, very challenging for me. However, I always supported them. I always continued to pray for them. I always encouraged them and supported them in that way. I remember in high school, all three of them, oh, no, well, in high school, my brothers and my sisters, they were inducted to the National Honor Society. And me, I was like, I would have that opportunity. So for me, it was hard, but I always supported them in that way. So in their academics, as well as spiritually, as well as mentally. So I always tried to support my siblings, whichever way they choose to go to.
Now, I before I retired from elementary public education, I remember going with parents and the child study team to the meetings. Do you remember anything about what your parents had to do, how they had to fight, or what they had to do to get services for you?
Yes, it was very difficult for them to even fight for me to have the services, the accommodations that I'm supposed to have as a student. It was hard to even be accepted to those programs. And then once I was accepted, it was like the teachers and as well as the school speech pathologist was really downplaying who I was and the gifts and talents I can offer to the school. However, I still able to pass and able to be successful, but it was very, very hard for them to get into those academics and to get into those accommodations for my school.
After I retired, I did some work in the middle school for a class with students with disabilities. And I remember some of the aides and some of the other people who worked in the class, you mentioned downplaying, and almost kind of wrote off the students. And I believe that every child has ability in spite of whatever, because we all have some kind of deficits. So do you remember experiencing anything like that with the teachers just saying, oh, this is all she will do, this is all she can do?
It was mostly in seventh grade. In sixth grade, I went to a Christian school. Well, sixth grade through seventh grade, and my teacher in sixth grade, she understood what I was going through, and she had the same diagnosis as I did. So she was able to help me and be understanding and just give me some leniency. When I went to seventh grade, the teacher was completely not understanding. He just wrote me off completely. He just told my mom, this girl not gonna make it, and you just might as well just accept that and just move on. And he was just very, very unprofessional for a child who has some type of this IPE or this disability, and how his approach was. It should have just been a little bit more professional and helpful in a way.
Yeah, so what did that kind of do to you though? Did it
And
make you,
actually, it pushed me. It really did push me. Um, it really did push me. I just took what he said and I just put it to heart, and I said, well, I'm going to show you, basically, in my words, that I can handle it. And who are you to tell me that I can't do nothing? And so I just took it and I move forward with it and pursue in my academics. So
so you've gone from elementary, middle school, high school. How different was it for you in high school? Because, in middle school and going into high school, kids are coming into their own and a lot is going on. What was it like for you in high school?
in high school, I had more help. There was IEP classes offered. However, I was still kind of not. I was still embarrassed of this, those disabilities that I had. I didn't want no one to know. Plus, a lot of people came to me for help in my classes, so I didn't want people to like put me down that kind of way because I was considered to be the smart kid in my grade. Well, not the one of the top smart kids. People will come to me ask for help for this subject, or people will come to me to ask for, hey, what do you put on this answer, or what do you do for this test? And so I was considered one of the smart kids in school. So I didn't want people to know that I had these learning disabilities. So I kind of just hid it and was embarrassed of it.
But you graduated from high school, went to college. How was that inspired? How did you even decide, okay, I'm going to college? Although, I have all of this back information, things that people have said, things that educators have said. What was your inspiration for going to college?
Um, well, my parents, my grandparents, and my nana will not allow me to sit at home after high school. That was not acceptable in the Doonquah slash Fallow household. So I had to go out, at least get some type of degree or associate degree or a certificate in something. So I had to do something. I couldn't just stay at home and watch cartoons all day. But I had to go. It was not acceptable in my household to be at home because of my diagnosis. No. No.
I like that. I like that about your parents because in spite, and I've always said, and I still say that parents are the greatest advocate for their children, and no matter what anyone says, because one of our sons, when he was in elementary school, you get back those tests and the teacher said he needs to be in a particular class. So we had to go and fight for him, and that's the right thing to do, that
Mm.
parents. So now you're in college. How was that?
It was when I did 4 years at a community college, and then I did 4 years at a university. And the first couple years of the community college, I was kept thinking that this was high school learning. So I just played it off as high school learning. And the first semester of my community college experience, I got a warning, an academic warning letter. And after that academic warning letter, that totally changed my mentality of thinking about college. So I was like, Anya, you're gonna have to be a little bit more focused on your classes. This is not easy work. This is a little bit difficult. I need you to focus. So after that, I did like three semesters of getting 3.0s. I had and then in the university, North Carolina A&T, I was on the dean's list. I was on the national society as well. So I did pretty well for myself in my college experience.
So what does that say to you about you?
It says to me, girl, you can do it.
Oh yeah.
You can do it. Like,
Yes, yes.
don't downplay yourself. You can do it, Anya. You got a good resume. Go ahead.
Exactly, exactly. If you well, there's one of the persons that I interviewed several months past, lost his vision by the time, full vision by the time he was 7 years old. But he learned how to ride a bike, learned how
Wow.
to ride a bike, and he is now a college administrator and working on another
Wow.
degree. So yes, 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 you can. Yes, you can. So that college experience, and you mentioned how in middle school with the teacher who kind of wrote you off, gave you a push. What else is
Yeah.
giving you a push?
I would have to say my parents, my grandparents, and my neighbor. And of course, God.
Yes, yes, yes.
Jesus. They're giving me extra push, and He's giving me push and encouragement and strength to able to do what I'm called to do. But as heavily Jesus Christ, but earthly, my accountability people, my parents, my grandparents, my nana. So yes.
Well, I want to share a few things, and then we're going to come back to have some more conversation. If I can do this right, I told you I need. All right, so here you are as a little honey pie, and look at that face. And here, you seem really happy here. You mentioned you're kind of laid back.
Yes, I am very, very, very laid back. Very.
And that's really surprising to me, and I can hardly believe that. But look, here you go with your siblings. So you have twin brothers,
Yes.
and how old are they?
They just turned 25 in May.
Wow, and your
They were,
sister.
and my sister turned 23 in June.
Okay, so you're all adults now, and
Yes.
here you go, the entire family.
Yes.
So you're encouragers, but you have some others here. Tell us about these people.
These are my grandparents. They are Pastor William and Mother Ida Barlow.
And this was your graduation.
Yes.
And we have another one here. Tell us about these.
So this is my grandma on my dad's side in the middle, who we call Nana, but her identification name is Dorothy Cummings. And the lady on my right, your left, is Aunt Malika. He's a doctor who she practiced in Maryland. And then, of course, the one in the purple is James. And then the one in the blue is my soon to be uncle.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So Anya, you finished college, but you're also active in your church. What do you
Yes.
do there?
So recently, I would say 5 to 7 years ago, I was named one of the liturgical dance leaders at our church. One of the ministers, she was pregnant at the time, and she called me up one day when I was driving to work, and she said, "Anya, I need you to take over the liturgical youth young adults ministry." And I was like, inside, I was like, Minister Chanika, I cannot do this. But I had to respect where she was coming from. Of course, she asked my pastor, my first lady, to do that. So I said, okay, I can do that. Sure, Minister Shanika, I got you. And so ever since then, I've been over it and been taking charge of it and just growing in that particular ministry at Bill and Lions Family Church.
So, as I said, it's hard for me to believe that you say you're laid back, but I guess it depends on one's definition of laid back. I don't know. So, Anya, what would you say? What would be some encouraging words that you would give to others? Because there are some people who have other challenges. What would you say to them?
I would say, well, the Holy Spirit told me to tell the people who are watching that you are built for it, that you are built to handle it, that you're built to make it. We have this saying at Build a Lives, you can handle it, you can take it, you can make it. Yes, you can. I know you can in Jesus' name. So you can do it. The God is inside of you. You cannot be defeated. And you're built for every situation, every challenge, every setback, every obstacle, every defeat, every victory, because the greater is in you that's in you than who is in the world. So I say that you're built to handle it.
I love that. I love that. Listen, that's great information. That's great advice for people, period. Young, old, of every age, because just because we age chronologically does not mean we don't have challenges. So thank you so much, Anya, for being, did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with me on this edition of Leafless, Not Lifeless with Sharon Benjamin. I am certain people will be blessed and inspired and encouraged. Thank you so much. And I want to just say to you, yes, you can.
Thank
You
you.
can do it. You can do it. So thanks again. Thank you for watching and listening. And please make sure you leave your comments. Let me know that you're watching and listening. If you'd like to share your Leafless Not Lifeless experience, please contact me at leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com. That's leaflessnotlifeless@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching and listening, and I will see you the next time.